Good morning, everybody. Please, I have a wet head this morning. I have to let it air dry a little bit, trying to get my hair, to kind of come back because of all the malnutrition I've been through. Still kind of going through stuff. But I'm still watching this eye sniper. I need something for my back. Hold on, guys. I, I got to make sure that my back is rested or it's going to be painful. I don't want it to be painful. And it's just no fun for me. Oh, all right, here we go. Okay, so nobody here. All right, all righty. I have things set up. Let me see if I can pull this up because I really want to share the screen. I want to start off with something. Actually, they kind of start off with this in the share screen. Let's see, in Chrome tab. Okay, share. Okay, now. Oh, yay, Carla, you're here. Thank goodness. I'm figuring a lot of people will be showing up soon. Hey, Quinny, look forward to you guys coming in. I even went over again because I've already watched episode 3. I haven't watched, I think there was a 4. I think they even have 4 out now. But I want to go through 2 because I never got through 2, and there's a lot in 2 that kind of sums up the rest of the whole um, the whole story when it comes to the eye sniper and the Beltway sniper attacks that happened back in 2002, which I remember very clearly. How are you, Carla? You took the day off. I even wrote some notes down because I didn't want to forget some stuff because there's some this episode really has quite a bit of information in regards to Lee, who is the young, well, he's not a young child anymore, he's 36. He is the child that John Muhammad took under his wing. Um, and it's funny because I do believe Lee belongs where he is. Do I feel bad for this kid? Yes, unfortunately, this kid never had a prayer because once again, systems. Now, Lee was from Jamaica. His mother was from Jamaica. Um, his father was very poor, didn't think he could take care of him. He didn't want him. This was all brought up in episode 1. So in episode 1, um, we found out how John and Lee had met. I mean, what a great mom Lee had, She just left him with some guy, and that was that, who basically turned him into a killing machine. That's exactly what happened. Nobody knew at the time. It was really, for me, I lived about 2 hours away, but nobody really knew back then what was going. As you're watching this, nobody really knew what was going on. Nobody knew who was behind it. Nobody knew where it was coming from. Nobody had anything, anything to go on. There were no leads in this case whatsoever. And literally, hey, life is a gem. Thanks for coming in. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm going to start off with you with this one video. They show it in the video, but it kind of maybe sums up the feeling of what it felt like in 2002 during this time. Um, if you can't hear this or you can't see it, let me know. Maybe I should put on my phone, make sure I can hear it and see it too. Because um, any of us who remember this, we kind of all know and remember. Oh, wait a second. Gotta do something here. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Perfect. Okay, let me try this now. All right, so here we go. Just want to go to my channel. I hate listening to myself. Oh my God, I hate listening to myself. So it's like I have to turn it down. Does anybody honestly like the sound of the voices? I don't know. I definitely don't. Okay. So I just want to see if you guys can see. Okay, you can. All right, let me know that you have audio. All right. This kind of, here we go. Okay. All right. I'm not going to play this whole video. Just give me a thumbs up if you, or a one if you can hear it.
Oh boy. Oh, hey. I found all my lip balms.
Hill Descent Control.
You want some?
In the most adventurous Subaru Outback ever.
Get 0% APR financing on a new 2021 Subaru Outback. Going on now.
I'm sorry. Idiot.
8 million man-hours to complete. You're looking now at a live picture from the site of the World Trade Center and the attacks of last year as our coverage continues. In just a short while, President Bush will be addressing the nation.
Good evening. A long year has passed since enemies attacked our country. We've seen the images so many times they are seared on our souls. And remembering the horror, reliving the anguish, reimagining the terror is hard and painful. For those who lost loved ones, it's been a year of sorrow, of empty places, of newborn children who will never know their fathers here on earth. For members of our military,
For mothers,
it's been a year of sacrifice
idiot.
and service far from home. For all Americans, it has been a year of adjustment, of coming to terms with the difficult knowledge that our nation has determined enemies and that we are not invulnerable to their attacks. Yet in the events that have challenged us, we've also seen the character that will deliver us. We've seen the greatness of America in airline passengers who defied their hijackers and ran a plane into the ground to spare the lives of others. We've seen the greatness of America in rescuers who rushed up flights of stairs toward peril. And we continue to see the greatness of America in the care and compassion our citizens show to each other.
Yeah, remember those days when we were nice to each other? So that was me. I just wanted to kind of set up, let me remove this here. Wanted to set up what it was like back then during that time of this, when this went down. It was only a year after the terror attacks where we were kind of really living, like, I guess now, in uncertainty. We were living in a lot of uncertainty. And one thing we knew is that life was never going to be the same ever since that happened. And then this story comes out. It's legitimately 1 year and a month after the terror attacks. Now you got a guy going around. Now, mind you, we had the anthrax problem that happened here in New Jersey. I wasn't living here then. I turned off the thing from the 9/11. I'm not using that anymore. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Oh, you're still struggling from 9/11. Oh yeah. I mean, 9/11 was something to get over for, I mean, that was a hard thing for everybody. But that's where this took place. It took place the year after. Now, John Muhammad, I stated in the past, he was a man, he was actually a very honorable man. And he was a sniper. He was a sniper for the Army. And apparently he was one of the top snipers that the Army had. And the one thing is, like, he was married to somebody else and he wound up divorcing this person. I think he had a child or two from that marriage. Not really sure how that went. But then he married another woman. Her name was Mildred. He had 3 children with Mildred. twins and a boy. He wound up taking the children, going to Antigua, and just taking his kids and basically kidnapping them. So, Mildred is beside herself, trying to find her kids, has no idea where John went, knew what John was capable of. She was terrified of John because she knew if he wanted her dead, she could be dead and no one would ever suspect him. And if he kept getting away with what he got away with, it would have been, he 1000% would have been successful at this. Thankfully, you had one of the top, and he was an amazing officer back then. His name was Officer Chief Charles Moose was his name. I remember him. That man was there every day, day in, day out. He cried on TV. This guy was not in it for clout. There wasn't clout back then yet. There wasn't views. It wasn't like something that's what you did things for. This was something that was going on in his county, and people were getting killed left and right in his county. Now, John had turned pretty much Lee into a killing machine that we saw during season 1 or episode 1. He had trained him to, in his ear, he literally brainwashed this kid on being a sniper, on being a killing machine, on mourning the person that you were in order to move forward, to make people's lives come to an end. All this is a means to an end, and you've got to get used to this. So, this is how bad it gets. Lee's first kill, Lee's first actual shooting was in Tacoma, Washington. He said, what you do, go up to the door, knock on the door, you be friendly, act as if, you're joking around. You lift the gun and you squeeze. That's what happened. He didn't know it was somebody's house that John even knew. He had no idea. Like this was somebody's house and he wanted to get even with somebody. Lee wound up killing Mildred's sister, Lisa, daughter. And she had a baby. She just had a baby. And she was like a bright of sunshine. And she opened the door, smiling, and he killed her right in the doorway. He said after that, it got really, really easy after the first time. And it was from the coaxing of John Muhammad that he was able to get that courage up to do that. He was 15 years old when that happened. So when they took John's kids away was when John really lost it. I set it up here. I'm hoping you can hear this. I'm going to probably move a little bit closer to the TV so you can hear what happens, because I can't say it better than they can. And I just want to play this audio clip, make sure it's loud enough. Hold on. Let me just go. All right. So you're going to hear the judge talking to John Muhammad and John Muhammad talking to the judge. And then you're going to hear Mildred, his wife, explaining what happened after everything went down. Just, hey, Carla or Kim, anybody, just hit a 1 as long as you can hear it. If you can't, hit a 2 and I'll try to hit it up. All right, play.
Before we begin,
Oops, hold on. I just muted it.
you will solemnly swear for any testimony you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, sir. Sir, what is your name?
Sir, my legal name is John Allen Muhammad.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Just a moment, sir.
Can you please tell me what's going on?
There is a parenting plan that was entered by the court, which allows her to have the physical possession of the children.
So the children are missing.
Quite frankly, according to the court's order, they're going to the mother.
So are you telling me I won't be able to keep my children?
No, I'm saying you've got no visitation at present
So I can't see much of them.
Your visitation is suspended.
And until it's done, I'm not able to see much of them.
All right?
They gave him a document he needed to sign to release the children.
That's
He
Mildred.
signed the document and flipped it back to the court. Judge said, case dismissed. He hit the gavel. Mildred and I, we were just.
That's
tearful.
Mildred's sister.
The attorney was happening. We're walking outside. I turn and it's John. He's walking towards me. I take off down the hallway, shoes go everywhere. And I looked up and John passes right by me, walking swiftly right by me. I'm up against the wall. Just John put his hand on the courtroom door, looked at me and said, gotcha.
And
The
that's
attorney said, oh, hell.
That's legitimately what happened. And this is why John Muhammad started killing people in Montgomery County, Virginia, because that's where she lived around. So his goal was to terrorize everybody in the nation and make them pay for what the nation has done to him. And Mildred is going to pay. And what his goal was to shoot so many people that there would be no way to trace it back to him. And with what he had done moving forward, the man obviously he was beyond smart. He was a ridiculously smart criminal. The first stop that they made was in Trenton, New Jersey. That is where they bought the boxed car that people see all the time. I have it. It was up on the stop screen. Yeah. Sorry. That's where they got the car that they had, which was the Chevy Caprice. And they had literally built this car in order to be a killing machine, in order to never be spotted. And they did a really good job of doing that. And just to remind you, Lee was a kid that was dropped off with John in Antigua or Belize, one or the other, because his mom didn't want him. His father didn't want him. Nobody wanted him. All this kid wanted was to be loved, and John did love him. John treated him like a son. A little bit more, unfortunately, but that hasn't come up yet. We'll get into that when the next episode comes up. And it didn't matter what he told me. I would have done it. I would have done anything for this man, anything. He knew that. He preyed on that. That's why he made him the killing machine. He made him a better killing machine than actually John was. John was the lookout most of the time. Lee did all the killing. So for me, that's why I do believe that Lee should never get out of jail. You killed how many people? There should be, I think they have given him a chance for parole. Good morning, Dova. Good to see you. I love you. So yeah, he was very calculated at everything that he really did. So I wanted to make sure I wrote this down. Yeah, I told you the car was in Trenton, and that his whole family didn't love him. And the first person that Lee killed was Mildred's sister's daughter, so Mildred's niece. And Lee did not know that yet when he actually killed that woman, or this young mother. So he said once he did that, it got a little bit easier. So as you guys heard as it played, John was pretty much divorced. His children were no longer legal his, nor did he have any kind of visitation. All in 10 minutes, he got that information. And it made him nuts. It made him 1,000% crazy. According to Lee, he said that he had shown something to him that he had never seen John show, and that was vulnerability. He had never seen John vulnerable. He was hurt. He was angry, and he was going to make everybody in the nation pay, including his wife, for what this country now had done to him. So this is why all of this took place, was because of what just went down in the courtroom. So when did the craziness, I mean, the craziness obviously started when they were in Tacoma, Washington, but when the Beltways first started the killing, was October the 2nd, 2002. It was in Montgomery County, Virginia. Is it Virginia, I think it is, or is it Maryland? Maryland. Sorry, wrong. Montgomery County, Maryland. And they were in a super fresh, and all of a sudden someone gets killed instantly in the parking lot, just shot. Woman, calls, oh my God. No one really understands because they're hearing a loud bang, but they're not seeing anybody with a gun. So people aren't necessarily sure they're seeing somebody get shot. They're just seeing tons of blood, and because these people are shooting from such long distances away, people are never going to know. So that killing was their test run. So Lee and John had set up, how many did he say? 15 to 20 locations for the following day. So they knew the day before where they were going to park this car, and whomever was the easiest shot, they shot. That's no discrimination. They didn't care if you were a boy, girl, what race, what religion, what age. It didn't matter to them. They wanted to terrorize the world. Well, they terrorized a good part of the nation for about a good 3 weeks. So on October 3rd was just like any normal, beautiful, gorgeous fall day. It really was. In Montgomery County at 7:46 a.m., the police are now still working on the case that happened the night before of the shooting. They still don't really know what happened. So at 7:46 a.m., Lee and John set up the car, and they had found this guy who was mowing lawns. 7:46 a.m. The guy's name was James Sonny Buchanan. Sonny, I guess, was his nickname, what people called him by. He was a 39-year-old white male, and shot, killed. People saw his body like laying there. A lot of people thought he wound up having an accident with the lawnmower. They thought they're like, there's way too much blood. This has to be done by the lawnmower. I need to take a drink, sorry. Getting a little thirsty. So they went. He was honestly a really quick, easy target. In, out. They were done in seconds. You wouldn't even know they were there. As I said, they didn't know this guy was shot. They thought he got into some kind of like lawnmower accident. So, because a lot of people still weren't aware that there was this crazy active shooter out there, because it was only one person that happened in, the day before. And now here we are at 7:46 in the morning, and you see this already, somebody's getting killed. So after that, they had moved on to a gas station. They were parked, I think, across the street in a different area. And he says what he remembers is there were two people. There was an Indian taxi driver and there was a white woman. And he said it was going to be one of them. And in the documentary itself, they actually interview the woman. And she explains it from her side and what happened with her. Everything's fine. I didn't see you. Hi, I love you. Hello. I miss you. I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. Summer's coming around. The kids, I'm feeling, a little okay. So I'm always going to do this as long as I still can. I will always be doing this. Hi, Anna Rose. Good to see you. Good to see you. Everything Spicy and Dova and Carla and all y'all. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. And, just trying to get my channel back up and running again. And it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. But let's get back to the story. Anyway, so a gas station, 8:12 a.m. The Indian taxi driver was killed. The reason why he was killed, he was the easier shot. He said he couldn't make up his mind between the two of them, but he wound up going, he was just the better shot. And he constantly says, it was nothing personal. You're taking somebody's life. Of course it's personal. Jenna Moon. Hi, Jenna. Good to see you. Good to see you, Jenna. So they make their way over to the gas station, and then at 8:12 a.m., I'm going to totally destroy this guy's name, and I apologize to the family. Precure? I was going to spell it out. His last name was Wallaker, I think it was. Wallaker, I think it, because Prekumar, I think his name might be. I have friends who I'm like, I'm sorry if I butcher your names. They're like, that's why we have easy names, like for the last names, because the first names are way too hard. So according to Lee, when it came to this, constantly he went back and forth. He didn't know which person. And the woman is explaining the story to you, and she said the reason why that sticks out about the driver was because he had his gas tank underneath his license plate. So he lifted up the license plate, and she said, I had never seen that before. She was from England, obviously. Maybe she was newer in the United States or something like that. Hi, Lava. Thanks for coming in, sweetie. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you, Valerie. Just going over, talking about episode 2 of I Sniper, the documentary that is on Vice. I remember this very clearly because I can remember being scared because we were supposed to be going down to DC, but they were caught, thankfully, long before we went down to DC. But that it was a really, really weird and scary time because especially it was right after 9/11. Nobody knew what the hell was going on at all. So as I said, the guy went back and forth. He was the easier target, and he wound up killing the Indian man. So now you've got a gardener, the guy from the night before, and now this chief. They've got nothing to go on, except one person comes forward and goes, I saw a white van, like an Isuzu box truck van, leaving the premises really, really quickly afterwards. That's all the police had. They had nothing else to go with on that. So the thing is, now we're all looking for white box vans. I'm telling you, I know I looked at everyone, and I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and I was very skeptical. The funny thing is, it wasn't even a white van. They were in an old Chevy Caprice, for crying out loud. And everybody's looking for this white boxed car. So then once again, as I said, they had 15 to 20 places mapped out for the first day. So that last killing happened at 8:12 a.m. The next one, that day, October 3rd, 8:37 a.m. Her name was Sarah Ramos. She was a young Hispanic female sitting at the bus stop on a bench reading a book. Dead. And that, I think that was the area where they said they saw the boxed van, and that's all they had to go on. And the funny thing is that, your gut tends to tell you things sometimes, and sometimes you go, you're blowing things completely out of proportion. And this guy said he knew Lee and John very well because he worked at the YMCA. But then there would be times he noticed that Lee and John would sleep at the YMCA. He said, in my 20 years of working for the YMCA, I had never saw anybody sleep in the YMCA. And so he was going to maybe call the police. And he's like, chill out. You don't know what's going on. Don't jump to conclusions. And that guy's just like, I feel like I did such a disservice by not calling, but how would you have known that you would have thought this guy and his son, because that's what they looked like. They looked like father and son, even though they really weren't. I mean, but he took him in as his son. It was a crazy time, and it was scary. And to know it was a 16-year-old and another guy. And when you talk, and there's even doctors that are in this documentary where people are like, this woman shot herself. Some people, a lot of people who saw the shooting at the bus thought the woman shot herself, committed suicide. People who saw the guy, what happened to the Indian driver was the woman who was in the car, who was literally the second option, which I'm sure she didn't know for a long time. And then this poor guy who's out just doing his job in the morning, cutting grass, and this was just the beginning. There were 17 killings in that area altogether. And I'm up, we're up to episode 3 now, where we'll get a little bit more. And I'm definitely trying to find a little bit more and find out more about like the families and things like that. Hi, Richard. Hi, Bailey. Thanks everybody for coming into us. I'm really bad sometimes when it comes to looking at the chat and reading. I've got ADHD. I don't use it as an excuse, but I try to keep things straight. And I'm just trying to keep things straight because I just want to give you guys the accurate points from episode 2. And that's really episode 2 in a nutshell. The end of episode 2 really kind of talks about John's upbringing. John had a very hard upbringing, believe it or not. Shocker. John, apparently it sounds like he was raised by his sister. He was a ladies' man, but, got himself in trouble. But when he thought, he was joining the army, he was going to be moving his life forward, doing better things, doing things in bed. But unfortunately, and Mildred says it, and I'm not sure if it's episode 3 or 2, she said he went to Desert Storm. She goes, I do not know what happened to him in Desert Storm, but something happened. And I don't know, but something really bad happened because he didn't come back the same person. And I mean, I don't know if that's PTSD. I don't know what that is. I mean, that was a guy who lost a lot, and definitely handled everything wrong. I don't know if you guys are aware, but John Muhammad was put to death, I believe, back in 2008. He was put to death, I think, by lethal injection. Let me just relook at that real quick. But yeah, John Muhammad. Here we go. John Allen Muhammad. Yep. 2009, November 10th, 2009, in the Greensville Correctional Center in Virginia, he was executed by lethal injection, which unfortunately you go around and he has, I guess they're incorporating, because apparently what they're saying is that he shot 32 people. I'm sorry. How many? I've actually seen different amounts, but I know the Beltway, there were 17. Tacoma, Washington was definitely 18. They killed somebody also in Arizona for shits and giggles on a golf course, and they wound up dragging him and hiding his body. And because that's what John had taught him. John taught Lee everything that he knew. Everything. Didn't come home the same. No, you're right. Life with the gym. A lot of them do it. I was this spry 32-year-old. I was in my 20s. In my 20s. I'm 46 now. But this story to me was just like, I think back and like, there's certain things that remind you, and I can literally remember, because I was working a lot, watching the news about this while I would work out at the gym, and just shaking my head like, where is this coming from? And everybody thought it was this big white truck. And I'm really curious to see how the rest of this moves forward and how we see that they are caught, because they do get caught in a rest stop. And I don't remember how they figured out there was a Chevy Caprice, but in a couple of instances, a couple of people did say they saw a Chevy Caprice, but for whatever reason, they still focused on that white box truck. The Chevy Caprice really never got the attention that it needed to get, but thankfully, only 3 weeks went through before they did find them. And Mildred, thankfully, is still here to tell her story. And honestly, you can look it up on YouTube. There is videos where you can find Mildred and the children, and they call him John. They don't refer to him as Dad. They do remember the time that they spent, and basically what and how they feel about Lee today. So literally, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, just you can look up I Sniper John Muhammad, Mildred Muhammad. You can find a lot of that. So that's it for episode 2. Episode 3 I've already watched, but I'm going to rewatch it again. Most likely I will be doing that. Today's Friday, right? Right. It's going to be hot this weekend too. I'm trying to think of the weekend. We have no plans. Like legitimately, my biggest plan is checking out the new supermarket in town. Ooh, it's so exciting. It's called Liddell. I never heard of it. And people are like saying it's like an upper class Aldi. So I'm like, oh, kind of excited. That's always a good thing. And plus, I have a $20 off coupon for buying groceries $40 or more. So there are little things in life that just get me excited. That's all. Little things. But I am going to go out with my friend tonight. Her and I, we're going to go be normal and try going to a happy hour with no masks. No masks needed. Yeah, we are now. There are mandates. If the store decides they want you to wear it, then yeah, you have to wear it. But from what I'm realizing now, our mask mandate has really relaxed. But I'm noticing people in Jersey are still really afraid, more so than people in PA. People are like, woohoo! People in Jersey are still wearing them. Like, I want to breathe. I want to breathe again. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I really, it's a really awful thing that happened back then, but it was really easy to try to link it to terrorism because that's what everybody thought it was. And it was terrorism. It was our homegrown terrorism that we have here. But it definitely takes you back, and then we kind of remember that feeling that the nation felt after 9/11 and how united we were. And it makes me think today, and it just makes me really, really sad. It makes me just so sad because, I mean, I'm working consciously on not getting road rage. I'm the worst with road rage. When I heard that story that happened in California, I'm not getting mad at any drivers anymore who may take a gun, put it to my car because I gave them the finger. I'm like, that's over. Road rage is now officially over for me. And, I'm working on myself, going through, some changes in my life, things that I have no control over. And it makes me a little nutty, but I'm working on it. I'm really working on it. So if anybody's got menopausal tips on how to be not crazy, please send them my way. gingerlocks2020@gmail.com if you've got good ways of getting through menopause. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming. Thank you. I will definitely, I'm going to rewatch 3 again as well. And I'll probably get this out before, maybe even tomorrow. And I don't see it tomorrow. Sorry. Probably maybe Saturday I can get this out. And I'll do it just like this, and I'll keep it to a decent time. So if you want to skip through and do stuff like that, and I'm not monetized, so hopefully there's no ads for you. All right. So bye, everyone. Thanks for joining. And I appreciate you all. Really, I do. And I appreciate your friendships and just being here because you put a smile on my face, and it's been hard to do that lately. And the people who are in here really do bring a smile to my face, and I appreciate you all for that. Have a happy Friday. It's that Friday feeling. That's good. Maybe I should end it with the song It's Friday. Echo, play It's Friday. Is that the name of the song? Here's Friday by Rebecca Black. I don't think this is it. This isn't it. Echo, end. That's not the song. It was that annoying Friday song. It's Friday. You guys remember it anyway. Thank you guys. Thank you. I enjoy coming in and talking to you guys. I really do. And I've missed it, but it's been hard with my back. It's been hard with my stomach. I'm doing okay, but I have bad days and I got good days. And that's literally what determines everything for me. But thank you guys again. Thanks again. And I will see you guys really soon with episode 3. Oh, and Johnny Depp news. Good. Yes, we've got Johnny Depp news too.